This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 10th day of February in the year 2020. Here is what we're tracking tonight. The Department of Energy today announced that the local content policy for the oil and gas sector has been completed and printed.
Hot off the press, so it now is actually a deliverable.
Head of the Department of Energy, Dr. Mark Bino. He also promised that the full policy will be released to the media soon. Dr. Bino explained to reporters that the policy remains a fit-for-purpose one, which balances the alignment between the government's policy goals while maintaining consistency with Guyana's international and regional trade and economic cooperation obligations. There have been calls for a local content policy to be put in place before Guyana started oil production. The country started oil production back in December without the full policy in place. Dr. Bino today outlined that there are several initiatives covered by the local content policy, including a number of those that offer advancement for Guyanese citizens in the oil and gas sector.
It promotes education, inclusion, and advancement of Guyanese persons who demonstrate expertise and experience required to participate in the petroleum industry. It ensures participation of Guyanese persons in employment opportunities. It assures capable Guyanese suppliers of contracting and procurement opportunities within the petroleum sector, inside and outside of Guyana.
He went on to explain that a local content policy also pushes for and ensures the stimulation of cost benefits for the oil and gas sector and enhances alignment with good industry standards in the petroleum sector.
It also promotes world-class capacity enhancement and high-quality governance in key state institutions. The Department of Energy has been working with the operators to commence reporting on local content performance as per the matrices in this new local content policy.
There are over 1,900 Guyanese directly employed in the petroleum sector, Dr. Bino revealed,
with 75% of these being in the skilled and professional categories, with 100% basic skills being supplied by Guyanese. The representation of these employed in the sector came mainly from regions 4, 3, and 6. Additionally, the companies have engaged over 750 Guyanese vendors and spent over $120 million in the fourth quarter of 2019.
Meanwhile, Guyana is expected to lift its first 1 million barrels of oil next week, and systems are in place for that, Dr. Bino said. He noted that his department has been making progress in a number of areas, including monitoring and cost recovery. The ExxonMobil company has already made 16 oil finds in Guyana, with an estimated 8 billion barrels. More news coming up in a moment.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
Hi, I'm Andrea Farnham and I'm from Mabaruma, Region 1. I have been attending this college for the past month. It is a one-year course. This is actually the fourth batch of students. I'm part of the fourth set of children that have passed through this college. So this opportunity that it has presented, this college has presented, where they train us to be better public servants is something that I see will be beneficial in my life, not only professional-wise, but personally. This is a wonderful initiative by the Ministry of Presidency that enables us, myself, and my peers to grow professionally. Yeah.
I'm David Granger, and I approve this message.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyana Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Voting without an identification card. If you are registered and eligible to vote but do not have your identification card with you on election day, for whatever reason, you can still vote. The Guyana Elections Commission has put measures in place to accurately identify voters without an identification card. When you go to the polling station, you would be asked your name and address and referred to the presiding officer who will interview you. The presiding officer would look at your face and compare with the photograph alongside the name on the folio to confirm that they are the same. If the presiding officer is satisfied that you are the person you claim to be, you would be asked to take the oath of identity or affirmation. You would then be allowed to vote. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-0277 to 223-9653, email pro@gcom.org.gy, or visit GCOM's website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Tired of long lines? Register with MyGTT at mygtt.co.gy. That's mygtt.co.gy to view and pay your bills from anywhere. Enter to win an Amazon gift card worth $25 or a bounty voucher worth 5,000 Guyana dollars when you sign up today. GTT, do more.
Welcome back. While as Guyana prepares to manage its oil revenues, one of the major considerations of the upcoming elections should be the leadership of political parties in the race to govern, since this will determine how those revenues are spent. That is the view of Prime Ministerial candidate of the APNU-AFC coalition, Comrade Ramjatan. Speaking at a large rally in the town of Linden last evening, Mr. Ramjatan said it is the APNU-AFC that has stronger and honest leadership.
This elections is going to be a competition between credible and competent leadership in the form of David Arthur Granger, and as against fake and counterfeit leadership in the form of Air Fraud Ali. I don't have to tell you what you have to do. But it is more than that. It is based on that leadership that made us, although we were challenged by what we had to do with sugar, we have accomplished so many things.
The Prime Ministerial candidate blasted the presidential candidate for the PPP, telling Lindeners that Air Finale is unfit for leadership and has nothing to offer the people of Linden and Guyana.
And I want to urge of you that with the credible leadership and the competent leadership that we have, as against the counterfeit and fake that they have, the accomplishments on our side, the non-accomplishments on their side, we must ensure that come 2nd of March, we continue the progress.
President David Granger, in his address, urged the people of Linden to continue to support the APNU-AFC coalition to ensure the continuing development of the town and country.
I've come tonight to Linden with confidence in your common sense, confident in your tradition of support for the parties which come out and work for Linden and Region 10. Tonight I've come here with love for you, and I know you reciprocate that love. I know that on 2nd of March you go out there and vote for the coalition that you love. Vote for the leader that you know will support Region 10.
The president said, like the rest of Guyana, Linden will benefit from the oil resources and his planned decade of development, with major improvements in the educational sector alongside infrastructural development.
All across this country, we are going to use the petroleum revenues for you and your needs. We know your needs. And we will develop this country to make life easier for you and to give all of you a better quality of life.
The rally in Linden was one of the largest so far since the campaign season got started for the upcoming elections. Still on the campaign trail, the presidential candidate for the People's Progressive Party, Civic Irfan Ali, believes that members of the diaspora could play a meaningful role in Guyana's development, and the government under his watch will include diaspora in every aspect of decision-making in the country. At his party's rally on Sunday in Shortville, Mr. Ali said the diaspora should not be ignored, and he has no problem with those who have dual citizenship.
We are going to aggressively involve the diaspora in every aspect of national life and development. They must come back, they must work, they must be part of the future. They must benefit from the new economy. They are Guyanese, and Guyana belongs to all of us.
Ali also released a menu of development plans for the Region 3 area that he plans to put in place if he wins the upcoming elections. He said the West Demerara will see a superhighway and a new fixed bridge across the Demerara River with improved healthcare and educational facilities.
We are building an economy where we can invest in agro-business, agro-processing facility. We have to be able to invest in cash crop and ensure that the diversification of the agricultural sector is geared towards not only our local economy but to the requirement of the rest of CARICOM and further afield.
The Region 3 residents were also told that revenues from the oil and gas sector will trickle down to them, with training and jobs being made available.
In every area of development in the oil and gas sector, we know that there's skill gap now, so we have to train our people. But let me be clear, in the future, the oil and gas sector must be and will be managed and operated by Guyanese.
Ali, who also lives in the West Demerara area, believes the residents of the region must continue to support his party to ensure development of their communities. The Carter Center today said the former Prime Minister of Senegal, Aminata Touré, will be the co-chair of the Carter Center's Election Observer Mission in Guyana. Chairperson of the Carter Center, Jason Carter, will serve as the other co-chair. In a statement this morning, the Carter Center chairman said the Carter Center cares deeply about democratic governance in Guyana, and the upcoming elections is an important opportunity for all Guyanese to rise above political divisions, respect democratic principles, and move together towards a brighter future. Meanwhile, the former Senegal Prime Minister said that she's honored to co-lead the mission. She said she's hoping that the elections will help move Guyana forward in a spirit of inclusive governance. The Carter Center has had a core team and group of long-term observers in Guyana since early January. The co-chairs will arrive in Guyana in the days leading up to the elections. Once here, they will meet with key stakeholders, including the candidates contesting the polls and other observer missions. The Carter Center is observing Guyana's general elections at the invitation of the government of Guyana. Meanwhile, Youth Challenge Guyana has landed approval to observe the upcoming elections across the country. In a statement, the organization announced that it has trained 50 domestic observers. Each observer was trained to observe the pre-election political activities and election day activities. The persons were all screened for non-partisanship and signed the Declaration of Global Principles for Non-Partisan Election Observation and Monitoring. Youth Challenge Guyana said it will cover the campaigns and other political activities for the period leading up to Election Day to observe whether the rights and liberties of all Guyanese are being upheld. Observation of the process is being done in regions 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 10. Youth Challenge intends to meet with various stakeholders before the elections. On polling day, observers will follow the voting, counting, and tabulation processes. Upon the completion of the elections, a statement will be made about the initial findings of the Youth Challenge observers. Ex-Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, retired Rear Admiral Gary Best, remains a patient of the Cardiac Intensive Care Unit of the Georgetown Hospital this evening. He was taken to the hospital yesterday after complaining of pains to his chest and neck. Best has been in police custody since Saturday morning after he was involved in an accident that claimed the life of national cyclist Jude Bentley. Bentley was riding along the East Coast roadway around 5 o'clock on Saturday morning when he was hit down by the vehicle being driven by the ex-GDF Chief of Staff, which was heading in the same direction. The 41-year-old cyclist died on the spot, and the breathalyzer test conducted on Best found that he was over the legal limit for alcohol while operating a vehicle. Mr. Best, who is also a candidate for the APNU-AFC in the upcoming elections, was taken into custody and has been assisting with the investigations. Charges are expected to be filed against him this week once the investigation is completed and advice is offered by the DPP. In a statement issued through a publicist yesterday, Mr. Best offered his regret and sympathy to the family of the young cyclist over the accident. Family members of the young man remain in shock.
I expect to see the full course of justice administered in this matter and every other matter. This is not going to go down like another statistic. We cannot have a system that endorses something like that. This is unfair. It's absolutely unfair. Jude's life had no value. Any other life had no value. Georgetown Public Hospital male ward has the highest number of persons in there right now. It's from motorcycle and bicycle accidents. That should say something about our society and the regard that we place on the lives of pedal cyclists. And this is something that Jude has always advocated for.
And last evening, a vigil was held in memory of Jude Bentley. Across the Region is coming up next.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Today a reader, tomorrow a leader.
President Granger's 5Bs initiative has served as a support for our children's access to education. The most valuable gift we can give our children is the gift of knowledge.
That was a paid political ad.
Voting without an identification card. If you are registered and eligible to vote but do not have your identification card with you on election day, for whatever reason, you can still vote. The Guyana Elections Commission has put measures in place to accurately identify voters without an identification card. When you go to the polling station, you would be asked your name and address and referred to the presiding officer who will interview you. The presiding officer would look at your face and compare with the photograph alongside the name on the folio to confirm that they are the same. If the presiding officer is satisfied that you are the person you claim to be, you would be asked to take the oath of identity or affirmation. You would then be allowed to vote. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-0277 to 223-9653, email pro@gcom.org.gy, or visit GCOM's website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Across the region right now, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has launched an immediate investigation regarding police officers being affiliated to political parties after a newspaper reported that a policeman had been bypassed for contesting last year's local government elections on behalf of the ruling People's National Movement. A police spokesperson in a statement reminded officers that when they join the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, they immediately lose certain rights as a citizen, and one of those rights is to openly show bias and support for political parties. The spokesperson said Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith is probing allegations of a police officer applying and being interviewed for a political post in a political party while being a serving member of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. In Latin America, heavily armed police and soldiers in El Salvador have forced their way into parliament, demanding the approval of a $109 million loan to better equip them. They entered the building as President Nayib Bukele was about to address lawmakers. Earlier, he gave them 7 days to back his loan plan. Opposition politicians call the appearance of armed men in parliament an unprecedented act of intimidation. El Salvador has one of the highest murder rates in the world. Most of the violence is carried out by criminal gangs that operate across Central America. And finally tonight, international news. Chinese President Xi Jinping has visited health staff in Beijing, treating patients infected with the new coronavirus, in a rare public appearance amid the outbreak. Wearing a face mask, the president had his temperature checked and urged more decisive measures be taken. More than 900 people have been killed by the virus, the gravest public health crisis in China since SARS in 2002. Mr. Xi has kept a low profile and has not visited Wuhan, the outbreak's center. The death last week of a doctor in the city who tried to warn colleagues about the virus but was targeted by the authorities sparked an outpouring of grief and anger on social media, much of it directed against Mr. Xi's government. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.